spoils. And Esau did the same thing, and we're going to do the same thing, man.
Reading on, it says, large raiding parties might be essentially unopposed. When pirates sacked Viest in southern Italy in 1554, for example, they took an astonishing 6,000 captives. Algerians took 7,000 slaves in the Bay of Naples. In 1544...
Hey, you said the Bay of Naples. Now, that's where she is from, Naples. So the people of Naples, those are Jakes. And when they had them raid parties, or what do you call it? Raid parties, I guess you call it, yeah. Raids. They took them, the Edomite men, killed them off, blonde-headed, blue-eyed men and women, and they separated them, killed them off, and took the boys and put them in slavery, killed them too, because all they needed was a woman. They needed the young little girls and a woman of a certain age. And if you were too old, old women, they'd chop your head off too. So that's what they did back there. They didn't give a damn because they had hate in their heart, man.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 20:13. And when the Lord thy power hath delivered it into thine hand, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword.
Yeah. And that's plain. You can't get around that, you know?
And Elder Tahar, the date he read on that was 1554. So this is after the time of the so-called discovery of the New World. So Columbus made his expedition in 1492. So this is after the time. This is while...
Yeah, because Jake was still in power.
That's right.
Because, in other words, when this man was taken down, when he came back into power, he didn't just one day wake up and come into power and then Jake just disappeared. It took him years to take this just like us going out here speaking his word. We've been out here for years, and you can see this man going down. Every day he's going down. Gradually he's going down. So now the Most High is speeding things up. Excuse me.
I got another quick one. This is Deuteronomy 21:10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and mother a full month, and after that thou shalt go in unto her and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
Now that's the proof that an Israelite man can deal sexually with a woman of another nation. It's in the scripture. Now, if the Most High didn't want the Israelite man having sexual relations with them, you'd have said, when you come in, don't touch them, just kill them. But there's a law on it. There's a law that says if you have a desire onto a woman of another nation, you can deal with her. But you got to go through the protocols, but you can do it. So it's scriptural. And that's what the Moors were doing. And the North African Moors were really Israelites, okay?
All right, so let's go back to the article.
It says, Algerians took 7,000 slaves in the Bay of Naples in 1554 in a raid that drove the price of slaves so low it was said you could swap a Christian for an onion. Spain also suffered large-scale attacks. After a raid on Granada in 1566, netted 4,000 men, women, and children. It was said to be raining white Christians in Algiers. For every large-scale raid of this kind, there would have been dozens of smaller ones. If the pirates were short on galley slaves, they might put some of their captives to work immediately, but prisoners usually went below hatches for the journey home. They were packed in, barely able to move in the filth, stench, and vermin, and many died before they reached port. Once in North Africa, it was tradition to parade newly captured white Christians through the streets.
Listen now. Listen, this is what happened, man. And this showed you that we didn't have no fucking white friends.
Yep. Once in North Africa, it was tradition to parade newly captured white Christians through the streets. so people could jeer at them, and children could pelt them with refuse. At the slave market, men were made to jump about to prove they were not lame, and buyers often wanted them stripped naked again to see if they were healthy. This was also to evaluate the sex.
This is where this damn cracker learned how to check slaves and enslave them. They learned it from Jake. They learned that from Jake. They copied what Jake did, and they brought us over here. Inspected that inspection. They got that from us, man. That's right.
Reading on, it says, this was also to evaluate the sexual value of both men and women. White concubines had a high value, and all the slave captains had a flourishing.
Did you hear that? White concubines, women, had a high value. Why? Because of sex.
That's right. White concubines had a high value, and all the slave capitals had a flourishing homosexual underground. Buyers who hoped to make a quick profit on a fat ransom examined earlobes for signs of piercing, which was an indication of wealth. It was also common to check a captive's teeth to see if he was likely to survive on a tough slave diet. Why is there so little interest in Mediterranean slavery, while scholarship and reflection on black slavery never ends? As Professor Davis explains, white slaves with non-white masters simply do not fit the master narrative of European imperialism.
That's right. Because the reason why they keep that out of the history books, because if that actually happened, which we're reading about right now, that means it can happen again. If it was possible back then it's possible now. And this devil don't want to have that bad memory. Well, guess what? Out of sight, out of mind. Well, guess what? You're going to have that bad memory again. And it's going to be part of your reality. There's going to be a time where you're going to be put on auction blocks and sold all over the world to different Israelites, man. And then the Most High, we're going to use the different certain Hamitic tribes to be taskmasters over you devils, man. And that's going to be for 1,000 years.
This is out of the book Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, protocol number 16. We shall.
Oh, and the first people that's going to, guess what? The first people that's going to go into slavery is who? The Rothschilds. Elite. So hopefully David D. Rothschild will be alive, and we'll shackle that devil up, and we'll put him into slavery. And then we'll be talking shit about it. I say, you thought you were going to rule forever? You thought that agenda, you were going to reach the pinnacle of your New World Order agenda? Well, it didn't happen. And you're going to lose everything.
Yeah, it says, we shall change history. Classicism, as also any form of study of ancient history in which there are more bad and good than good examples, we shall replace with the study of the program of the future. We shall erase from the memory of men all facts of previous centuries which are undesirable to us.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about they were in slavery. That's rarely ever talked about, man. And then that leads me to this here. The movie, the series, the Bible, that mini series, and everybody's talking